What you say? Go free. You could go free.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll
Uh,
address the prompt.
yeah, you can address the prompt,
It's
and then after you're done, you can speak on whatever you want to speak on.
okay. So FBA versus everybody. Who's next? What's your issue? Um, yeah. So I don't really have a problem with people who seek to identify themselves however they choose. I think the issue with FBA or those of you who refer to yourself as FBA, one of them is that, you may not feel that you are being led anywhere, and that could very well be true, right? You say that you are a lineage and not a person. You are a group of people with a certain type of history. You're not being led by anything. This is just your ancestry, right? However, when you say things like, and there's countless of different words like babble, delineation, you know, I know there's a couple people calling people monkeys over here. You're getting that from somebody, and so when people hear that, they associate you with that certain somebody. So that's what I have to say about that particular person, right? So that's probably why people think that you have a leader, right? The other thing is that nobody would have an issue with FBA if they didn't try to revise our own history as Africans, because whether you like it or not, a lot of people we are related to, myself included, came here through the transatlantic slave trade. And whether you want to disassociate yourself from those people or being African or not, it's up to you. But then don't try or attempt to revise our history, my history as a person who loves and upholds their African ancestry. Just, be bold and do it yourself, delineate harder. That's what I have to say about that.
I have a rebuttal. Anybody else have a rebuttal?
Man, I do too. Unless somebody else want to take it.
You can go, JT. You first.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. This is one of the disrespectful talking points that a lot of Africans have, unfortunately. It's like, well, those were my ancestors, the ancestors that came over here doing slavery and did all these things that y'all talking about. And everybody doesn't have to agree with my talking points or anything that I say. I'm cool with that. I really don't care. But what I would have to
Wait a
say
minute,
about,
JT, is she African or African American?
are you African or African American, ma'am?
I'm Liberian American.
So
Oh,
she's an African. So what I would say to that is that, see, when you're sold as a slave, that means you're a citizen of no nation, right? Because you're literally being owned by other human beings. When Africans sold us out of Africa, we were no longer African because we didn't have a homeland at that point. My ancestors were brought over here to build America. They became Americans when they got to this land and began the process of building. This is why we call ourselves foundational Black Americans, because we are the foundation of America. Mama Africa is like a great mama to us, right? Somebody who sold their children away for a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And 20 years later, when the child grows up and becomes somebody, she want to come back into the picture like, I always knew you was going to be somebody. And Black Americans are saying no to that. No, you don't get to come back after the fact and claim us as if our relationship with you was something to be celebrated. We don't, I personally have African ancestry. I'm proud of that, right? But I'm not an African person. I'm not going to claim Africa. I'm not interested in claiming not one tribe in Africa. I don't dislike Africans, right? My roommate in college was an African, my brother to this day. But you don't get to claim us and we don't get to claim you, because I'm not a continental African. I have a 500-year history here at least that I'm very proud of. And I think if everybody just respected each other's boundaries, I think this conversation would go a whole lot better.
Okay, I wanted to rebuttal if anybody else didn't want to go.
Hold on, Free got the final say.
This idea that Africans sold Africans gets repeated a lot. And it's, again, one of those things that a certain individual likes to talk about, a person that you claim is not your leader, right? But it's usually oversimplified to the point of being very
But
expressive.
the free, we are, without Tariq ever saying that, or anybody else, we know, most of us know that's what happened. Shop.
Sure.
Did Africans sell Africans into slavery?
Yeah, I think when we talk about that, we're not giving a real service to historical facts, right? So when the Chinese invented the gunpowder, and I don't know what words I can and can't say, but this is a fact, right? You had the Europeans, pew pew. They invented the pew pew. You had a very huge disadvantage militarily, which a lot of people still do. Like when we're overseas right now. So it's like when you do that, they created an economy where it's like either you get down or you lay down, to keep it simple, right? So it's like we're talking about people who came in with the pew pew powder.
Wait a minute. So you under the impression that they didn't sell slaves, that they got kicked,
I know
that they
were at
came
a
and stole.
huge. Okay, they were at a huge military disadvantage, right?
Hold on.
And
The
that
people
way
that was
you
being sold were tribes that they was going against, that they did not
prisoners of war.
identify as their own. So
Right.
those are Africans selling other Africans, whether they was they same tribe or not, whether they was going to WAR with them or not, they were still selling them. They traded them off for pew pew powder, rum, some mirrors, all type of things. Just like the Native Americans did some of their people like that.
Right.
Like,
So we just gotta be real about the nuances of what it came.
of it, just because the YT man added the economic factor, it doesn't deny the fact that these folks sold off another group of folks that they didn't like or look at as their own or just like
Right.
that.
Because there was no concept of flat blackness, just like we're talking about now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I thought they've been
Why
black.
do we have to continue flat black?
I thought they've been black for centuries. They told me.
Yeah, I mean, they've been African for way longer than the European has been in existence. But
Okay,
but I'm just saying, okay, we don't believe in flat blackness now, but then we talk about tribes that were warring with other tribes that took prisoners of war and saying, oh, y'all didn't have flat blackness. The Pan-African thing came as a result of imperialism, not the other way around, because we were doing our thing for hundreds of thousands of years before they were even in existence, right? So now we all
it's a free turn still. We cut her off. I apologize for free.
Existed before then, right? And that enemy runs the world right now. I'm sorry, Loves, I can't hear you.
No, thank you. No, we had cut a free off. A free. You want to finish? I mean, I don't understand. I don't know what you
Sure, I'll go ahead and finish. So, he's right? They were practicing the notion that even though we're black, or even though we're from this particular region of the world, we're not all the same. So that's number one. There is nuance to it. And like I said, the idea that Africans sold Africans gets repeated so much that it's oversimplified and it's not even is misleading. It's not even the truth anymore. If you don't understand the concept of WAR and how WAR works, you're not going to understand what happened during that time during the transatlantic slave trade. Black people were indeed captured and sold. Europeans didn't just aid it to the economics, they controlled the entire system. Even the people who were slave trading, those black people, were also slaves themselves. And if you are an African American, it is likely that you have both the slave trader blood and the slave blood in your DNA, right? In your genetics. It was a WAR. It wasn't like Africans didn't have a sense of society or family. They were at WAR. And if you know anything about WAR, there's more to WAR than just showing up with a pew pew and then leaving. Just like how, and I'll land with this, just like how I'm going to say allegedly, right? That our government is aiding the Persian, I'm being quoted, okay, aiding the Persian sellouts to overthrow that nation. That isn't the minority of Persian people who are trying to overthrow their nation does not account for the entirety of the Persian people. That's just a minority. Those are just raccoons who they themselves are a slave to our system. That doesn't mean that African people hate you, or I'm sorry, hate you.
Can you give me my minute, love? Yeah. At, at this point, when those people, wherever they came from, Africa, the North Pacific, the Philippines, when they came to America, the Caribbean, they were no longer wherever they was. They became American. And that's where we starting at. We don't care about nothing else before that. We are no longer kinfolk. We are just skinfolk. We could be friends from a distance. We are focusing on America business. Also, when it comes down to the lingo in America, we create the lingo. That's why white people are using the word woke. They using the word babble just like y'all are because we are the cultural.
They using FWA, Foundational White Americans. Oh yeah, the whites are delineating now too, you guys. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Delineate.
Well,
we are the
FWA
Do I
cultural.
was
get a
termed.
turn?
Hold on.
I've been waiting.
Oh, you mean you've been waiting? I didn't know you asked to say something.
I got you, mom. I'm
I've
gonna
been
put
waiting
you.
to do my little run.
Okay, well don't say you've been waiting. You really got in there. Well, okay, hold on, Mom. We got you.
Been quite busy.
Yeah.
So I've been waiting. I guess I had to say that because I'm still waiting.
Okay.
Yeah, we are the cultural and moral parameter here in America. So whatever we come up with, everybody else copies. So of course, I want to say when we come up with catchy terms, everybody else is going to pick them up. Tether is just us advancing the language, just like we're advancing the identity marker. We're no longer identified as African American. We still hanging on to that black because when it comes down to America, white and black is an American concept that everybody else is starting to pick up on. We created it. That's why we sticking to it. That's why the YT people are not letting it go, and they're going to delineation, back to their old ways. And yes, it's going to go back to a white and black country, and y'all got to follow under our guidelines. If you don't like it, you can go home.
Okay, hold on. Afri, I have a question from somebody in the chat. It's a historical question. He wants to know if did Liberians ingest mean eat the African Americans that was over there. I don't know if it's an ignorant question. I don't know the history of Liberia,
Wait, what?
but he wants to know if
The cannibalism that went on in Liberia
did
when
cannibalism go on in Liberia? Did they eat the African Americans that was over there?
You're talking about the Liberian
Yeah,
WAR.
right. Oh, that's what
Uh,
happened? Okay.
If they
yeah, and
did,
that
we
was
was
against.
delicious.
Okay, gotcha.
All right,
So,
that was your answer. Oh, go ahead.
so yeah, that type of thing happened. Another thing that happened was that the African Americans who came over to Liberia enslaved the indigenous. All types of dumb,
no,
ignorant.
they didn't. No, they didn't. Stop it. Stop the lie. They
So
went
I'm
over there, they
being.
bought the land, and they chose to
Mhm,
separate. And the
mhm,
indigenous Africans that sold the land got mad because
mhm,
they wanted to be part of the government, and they said
mhm,
no. So they went to WAR and went to WAR for generations until they
mhm.
said, "Hey, y'all can start being part of." That's why they still separate from American Liberians and regular Liberians.
So it's two
We
groups
know
of
our history. Don't
Liberians.
play because
Free,
we
are
like
you
to.
an American Liberian or a regular Liberian?
My grandmother, and like the deeper I dig, because I didn't ask too many questions until towards the end of her life. But my grandmother was from North Carolina, and her grandmother was from North Carolina. So my family, we do have American Liberians in there. And so I know a lot of people value what their grandmothers say, right? I'm getting
Mhm.
this story from her, and she's American
Okay.
Liberian. And
All right.
so and so this is not just me just bullshitting. I can give you some references to some books. I'm not just
I
gonna
I
stand
don't
up here
got you
and say that.
bullshitting, but I know y'all are no longer us for sure because
I mean, that's cool.
y'all
So like
went through a whole lot.
my point is
Y'all went through
saying
like two,
the
three
point that I'm
generations
trying to bring
of
up is that
immigrating too.
delineate harder. Like delineate harder. Like
We
don't
are.
if you're
Y'all the
going
ones over here with
no,
us.
but hold on just a second. If you're going to be the way that you're being right now, you also have to let go some of the greats that some of you respect. Malcolm X, he was Caribbean. He's a tether, right?
No, he's
No,
half.
he's not.
He's a bi-ethnic, and then like
Sure,
you
he's a
can't come from
bi-ethnic, but hold
Liberia and try
on.
to claim
Weren't you just
American
talking
history.
about Candace Owens, who has like possibly
We don't care about Candace Owens, but you can't come from Liberia and come
unmuted?
over here and try to claim any American history
But
that
who
was
is
made
doing
on
that?
this soil. That's the issue that we have with y'all. Y'all don't understand boundaries. We don't go over there claiming y'all history. So, like, we don't go over there claiming no African history. We acknowledge the history, but y'all come over here and try to claim our greats like they was y'all people. No, no, honey. It's the reason why we made the saying, all skin folk ain't kin folk. You ain't not kin folk. We acknowledge you skin folk, though. You distant cousin.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
30,
like
30 generations
that's what I'm saying.
removed.
Delineate harder, and we
You're over here with us.
Delineation is not up to you. You don't
You're
get
over
to
here with
tell
us.
us that.
You're
If you
not.
want us to be delineate, you could just leave. That's the easiest way. If you want it to be delineated from us, you could just leave and go home, and then that's a simple fix. But
What do you
we
mean
make
I
the
am home?
rules. You're an immigrant. You don't get the chance.
Shock.
You don't get to
I'm
tell
not
us
an
what
immigrant.
we
I
need
was
to
born
immigrate.
here.
Wait a minute. A shock.
Yes, ma'am.
How do you feel about what you're hearing? Because I know you more of
Uh,
the don't delineate, but how do you think?
I didn't say that. I'm just Afri goes tit for tat, but I feel like the
No, no, no,
delineate
no.
harder thing is
I mean,
unnecessary.
I follow. I mean, her thoughts is her thoughts, but I'm just saying, how do you think that that's going to work out? How do you think How do you think that's going to work?
What
Can
exactly?
somebody
Can
just
I just
claim your
clarify
family?
something?
Can
Okay,
somebody
okay,
just
wait,
claim your family shot?
Shaka, can I
okay,
clarify something?
wait, hold on, because he said leave. Okay, when it comes to her country, we did go out and we did do what we did colonize, and it was a WAR and stuff like that. So we definitely did go over there. You feel
Yeah,
me? Foundation of Black Americans
they
did go over
bought
there.
the
That's a
land.
fact.
How they
That's a fact.
colonize? They bought the land.
I'm just
They
saying,
bought the
brother. I'm
land
just
from the
saying we did
people.
go over there. We did. There was cases where we went over there
Just because
too,
they made a
which
government and didn't
is
want the people that was uncivilized within the government, that don't mean they colonized. They
that
still
sound like they had a European mindset. You feel me? And of course,
Okay,
that's
well,
gonna play
that's
into it.
Exactly.
again.
No, it
That's
just sounds like
Exactly.
they
again.
didn't
How do
want
you think it's
primitive
going to
people
work
in
out?
place
How are
of
we
the
going to
power.
unify moving forward with people who have the views that free has and people who don't? You know what I
Can I
mean?
clarify something real
I,
quick? Shaka. I
you do be
I
going tit for tat though, free, because it's not my first
I'm
panel with
not no, but I think that you think I'm going tit for tat because
you. Delineate harder.
of what
Hey,
I
that's
said. When I
gonna
say
make them say
delineate
some shit.
harder, I'm acknowledging FBA as a group, but I'm not acknowledging
She
that
wants
FBA is
FBAs to delineate. Me and Free has spoken before, and I'll tell you, she wants the FBAs to delineate from African Americans, the same lineage as us, and Black Americans. She just wants them to be all back
Okay,
to by they
and
from.
all right, let me speak to that point. Well, what it's half it's truths in it, right? A lot of the things that she brought up Malcolm X, right? If we start doing the Aryan thing where we're going on a pure blood, you can't be from nowhere else and all that stuff, then we'll lose a lot of our civil rights leaders who came before us that paved the way for any type of progression in
How?
black
Ain't nobody
black
doing
spaces.
that.
I'm not saying y'all
If
anybody
you
spoke to the
we
point. I'm
acknowledge,
talking about my
hold
point, brother.
on,
I'm talking about my point.
let me clear
Whereas
clear
there's
because that ain't what we doing, and that's the
no,
contradiction
no,
people
no.
trying to
I
bring
ain't gonna
up.
land
No,
my plane,
you're
so you don't know where I'm
acknowledging
going
who's a
with it.
bi-ethnic, and if they contribute, know what I'm
I'm not
saying?
going by
We
ethnic, man.
acknowledging that. But yeah, we
That's
gonna
ridiculous.
if you're a bi-ethnic, yes, we gonna acknowledge that so we
Man.
can embrace both of your roots. Know what I'm saying? We gonna
Man.
acknowledge both sides of your
Okay, but
roots.
so
Like
what's the
let's
point of
go,
doing
let's
by
go.
ethnic if both of their roots, if they're Caribbeans, came from slavery just like us? We just got dropped off at different
We
stops.
don't like, but
That's
we
pointless.
do have to understand. Yes, they had some a similar history, but their history is under the British. Their history under the French,
Our
under
history
Spain.
came from Britain. What?
Ours is America. No,
But the
those are two
Americans,
separate things.
American Revolution was between us and Britain. Like we
Yes,
gotta be for real
and
now.
after that, we was our own entity. 1776, we became our own entity.
But we
We
still
was
speak
dealing with
English.
our
We
own
still
trials
have
and
the
tribulations.
Europeans still have cultures from
Sir,
Brother, can we
Britain.
move?
that's
Can
why
we go
I
visit
see people
Jamaica and call
delineate.
ourselves Jamaican? Can we do
No,
that?
but you can call yourself black. You're not a Jamaican. No, your nationality is
That's the
American.
But they
point,
don't
brother.
call themselves
Okay,
black
but
in
that's a
Jamaica.
fact. You're
You,
not Jamaican. You're American.
But
What's
the
the
they
point
don't
is,
difference
call
between
themselves
why do
a
black.
certain people
nationality
get
or
to
not?
migrate
You're
into people's
making your
ethnic?
own point.
You can't migrate into people's ethnic group. Like early '90s, you
Right.
had Jamaicans saying, "I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not black, I'm Nigerian." Now,
We,
like
we
the time switch up. Now you could just migrate into a person's ethnic group. You can't do that.